I gotta see if this even works. That's annoying. I can hear myself talking. 1 second. Alright, I think it's working. But I'm taking off the headphones because I don't want to hear myself talking to myself. That's really irritating. 1 second. I guess I don't really need to do audio output through the headphones. 1 second. So, this is like a combination of things, and it only seems to work if you do it in kind of a specific order and have a specific window as the focus window. So, as you guys, I'm sure, have seen me do before, you know, with Deepfacelab. Let me restart my 1 second here. Just want to make sure that if anybody shows up, I'll actually see comments. For some reason, it's like I won't get that don't show up unless I reload it a few times. Alright, just making sure that also works. T10s. Alright, seems to be working. So basically, this is a combination of Deepface Live, which I've done on here many times before. Obviously, I'm doing Jason Statham model here. Let me, second, need a little bit more focus there. I think that's better. And RVC, which is, I forget what it stands for, but it's something like real-time voice conversion, and that's close enough. But what it does is it converts, you know, normally what I have to do is I'll take like an audio sample, like a WAV file, or an MP3 file, and RVC has like a web-based user interface, so it feels like you're uploading something to the web, but it's really just, you know, you're not really uploading anything. It's just the way you interface with the softwares, with like Chrome, for example. And so you take, like I say, a WAV file or like an MP3 file or whatever of somebody talking, and you add it to the software after you already trained an AI model of the person. In this case, it's Jason Statham, and you tell it you want it to train against it. You choose some options, like you change the tone of voice or the pitch in this case, and you let it run, and usually pretty quickly it uses your GPU. So if you have a fast GPU, like I have a 4090 in the system, it very quickly will convert reasonably well the one voice to, in this case, Jason's voice. Now, what I've done here is I'm using a different application that still comes with RVC. This is their, it's like the real-time GUI, and it lets you choose a lot of similar settings, but you tell it you want to give it an input device. So in this case, I'm using, you know, like I've got my blue microphone here. This is from Yeti. It's like a vocal microphone. And so I told it I want that to be the input device, and the output device can be your speakers or whatever you want to listen to it through. But if you have it going through your speakers, you'll get like this back and forth between the microphone and your speakers, and it gets very weird. So I was using headphones for that. So anyways, it should come out in the proper person's voice, assuming you've trained it right. You also have to tell it within the software to use whichever model you train. So in this case, again, there's a file called a weight file, and then there's also an index file that it creates when you train the model, and you select each of those for the appropriate person, and it theoretically should pick up and properly make you sound like the right guy. And then it seems like it only works if that RVC GUI program is in the foreground. Like, it has to be the focus window. So it's like I have to have it up. If I move it, you know, if I click on something else, it's like it immediately stops working. You just get like a bunch of clicking noises. So it has to be the focus window specifically. And just make sure. I got 5 people watching. Let me verify. Let me restart my stream on my phone real quick. Sorry. Just sending a test message here. So anyways, I think it sounds pretty convincing. Like, another problem is it's pretty high latency, It's like I had to play around with the settings in Deepfacelab until I got the mouth action of the model to line up with the words as they came out at a delay. So it ends up being at like 1250 milliseconds, at least on mine. Seems to sync it up just right, which is kind of interesting. So, anyways, pretty interesting that you can convincingly have, you know, your face changed and your voice changed. The problem is it's like say for one thing you have to have the application like in the foreground all the time. So I don't know how you would use this. Like if you wanted to play games and try to be like a celebrity and game at the same time or something, I don't think you'd be able to do it, at least not with one PC. You'd have to have like one computer. I've done stuff like this before. You could probably figure out a way to do it with two computers and some capture cards and HDMI back and forth, and have like one computer run the game and the other computer running like Deepfacelab and like this audio conversion, and then like have it the game come across to your capture card or something. So you almost have to have two capture cards in one PC, and like I said, it'd be a little bit convoluted, but I think it could be done. Or you could play games and then have like your face appear down in the corner and have you play the game as Jason Statham, Arnold Schwarzenegger, whoever it was that you wanted to do, but have the appropriate voice as well. The other thing is like I said, this is pretty system intense, so it's using the GPU to run both things actually. Although I think it says that, yeah, for it to mess around with the pitch algorithm for the voice, it has to use the CPU, and you can tell how many cores you want to dedicate to that. But invariably, like your games, unless you're playing a very simple game, are probably going to lag and run very poorly if you tried to do all this on one computer. If you do it with two, I think you could do it and probably have, you know, a reasonably smooth experience. A second here. So anyways, I've seen a few people come and go, but nobody's leaving any comments that I can tell, so I'm not going to stay in here a real long time. This is mostly just for fun and to see if I can get it to work, which it seems I can. One sec. So anyways, it looks like people are just kind of ducking in and out just to see what's going on. Hope everybody's been doing well. I haven't done any live streams in a while. I know I already did a video that used Jason before, but I just wanted to try it actually live, which this is, I think it looks pretty good. This model turned out very well. I used some 4K Blu-rays that I have, and I ripped the Meg and then Hobbs and Shaw, and then made the face set exclusively with 4K content from ripped discs that I own. And so it makes for a very sharp face set. I'm building one right now with Christian Lambert, who was in the Highlander movies, and he also played Raiden in the Mortal Kombat film, the first one at least. I don't remember if he was in the second one or not. I think he was. But anyways, with the Mortal Kombat 1 game that just came out here a little bit ago, I thought it'd be fun to put him into some of the CGI footage of that game and change his voice and so forth, but use Christopher Lambert from, you know, like I say, to play Raiden in the game. It'd be sort of funny. And then, like I say, change the voice. And there's a bunch of characters in that game that I could screw around with and make a bunch of different characters into other people if I felt like it. I'm still working on that Timothy, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Chalamet, however you pronounce his name. It didn't look so. I also have the Dune movie 4K Blu-ray. Amazon did their like Prime Days thing here the other day. So I got I got all the Mission Impossible movies. Well, the first 6. The 7th one I think is not out yet, or it still isn't available to buy yet. So I got the box set of the first 6 4K discs, and then I got Dune, and then I got Highlander, and each one was like less than $10. So it was a pretty good deal for 4K discs, and that way I can make some pretty high quality face sets. So I will maybe I'll redo Timothy with footage from Dune and see how that looks and comes out. That'll probably be better than what I was working with. I was using stuff off of YouTube from like interviews, and none of them were that great. They're okay. I thought it turned out better than it did, but it really kind of looked blah. There's really no light variation when you do interviews. Sometimes it's like all the images look like they came from the same light source, and sometimes I think you need a little bit more variation than that to get a good face set to work very well. So, anyways, looks like a few folks stopping by. How's everybody doing? 1 second. Well, if people are commenting, I'm not seeing it. So, there we go. Barbecue Garden. How you doing? People are commenting. There's a little bit of delay when I speak to when it like shows up in the live stream as well. There's always latency and all this stuff. So, just making sure that this is working okay. What do you think, man? Does it sound pretty good? Just making sure. So I'm just testing the audio on my phone. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And I didn't even do that much with this one. Like, they put out a new version of RVC, uh, like that specifically is designed to work with Nvidia cards. And like before, I was using like 10, 20 minutes, maybe even like an hour of audio clips from some of the guys that I made miles for. And I mean, they sounded okay, but it took quite a while, still like an hour or more sometimes to train those models. This one I only used like 3 minutes from an interview that he did, and then I think I trained the model in like 10 minutes, and it was done, and it sounds this good. The new version is much faster, and it seems to do a pretty good job. I don't know if it's possible to change this on the fly. I probably could try it, but I don't know if it'd screw up the stream. I think it's in the video description, dude. It should be. I mean, there's been some, like the beta version that I was using had a lot of Chinese characters. I just had to figure out what everything did without, you know. I watched a tutorial on it, which helped, but some of it, like I say, was just in Chinese letters or some kind of kanji symbols. And so it was just mostly guessing as to what things did until I got kind of played around with it. Really. What the hell? 1 second. I got, let me turn on my other computer display here. I can probably do it from there. Let me verify. I thought I put it in here a minute ago. All right, 1 second. And actually, then I probably don't need to use the phone after this. Sorry, I got too much stuff on my desk. I'm screwing around with too many things. It's the way it goes. All right, 1 second. But yeah, the Christopher Lambert model is looking pretty good. Let's see. I don't know if I saw that or not. I mean, I get a lot of messages in there. Maybe you'd have to be more specific. I apologize, but a lot of people have similar questions. 1 second here. Let me try to get to that link or make sure that it's not in there. I can always add it. So let me see. All right, for else, I thought I had it in there. 1 second here, I will get that. There we go. I think this is the latest. Well, that's the GitHub page anyway. I don't know if that's the same link or not. They put it in here. That is not what I wanted to do. Sorry, we're totally gonna get there. So that's the official GitHub page that I just linked, and I'm gonna see if I've got the other one. Make sure that one of these works and gets you to the Nvidia version of it. Sorry, I got so many. Yeah, but I don't know if that's the right one or not. There's another one. I'm gonna get you a direct link to like the 7-zip file. This too many things. Let me see. Nvidia version of RVC. All right. One of those ought to work. I just put a second link in there. So hopefully that is helpful to you. Damn, need some air. Let's see. Well, I mean, like the video I did before where it was like has the crank background, uh, was not real time. I did the voiceover afterwards. And I mean, by real time, I mean like there's like over a second delay for it to convert it. I just synced it up with my mouth movements and so forth by, fiddling around with the settings. But I'm talking and then the delay, and then there's more delay for the live stream to come to you. So it's not, you know, as fast as it probably seems like it is. I hope though that in time, like when the RTX 5090s come out, or maybe between that a little bit, like the new i9, 14900K is supposed to come out here pretty quick. It's on my fiction. You see this crazy shit? Nah. Jeez, that sounds pretty good. Helps that I don't want to say like I look a lot like him, but I do have like a similar head shape, and I've been kind of bald for a long time anyway, so uh, I don't have to use like a full head model, and I kind of look like I am anyway, so Jason worked good for me. Yes, perfect. It's perfect for a night on the town with your mom too. Yeah, I was telling Barbie ago that I made this with full 4K content. I just ripped it from 4K discs. Like I've got the Meg, and then Hobbs and Shaw is what I used to make this. So it's strictly from 4K discs. So it came out pretty sharp. I probably could train it a bit longer and get a little bit better result, but I'm really not that unhappy with it. So I might try to do an amp version and see if that looks better. Oh, like 17,000? I didn't use all of Hobbs and Shaw. I used like 1.5 movies. I got kind of lazy. Really gets come tedious riffing the shit out of movies. Well, I mean, the last tutorial video I did, this model is already available in the description setting, or in the description, so you can download and use this if you want. It's already available. Uh, that isn't the last tutorial I put up in barbecue. This is made using those steps. I didn't do anything special. Well, I did anything different. So, the last major tutorial I did here like a month ago, you should be able to find in the videos on my channel. It says like 2023 MVE fork Deepfacelab 2.0. That's how I made this. It's like a 4-hour video, so saddle in for some time. But how much training? Like, dude, honest to God, like it's amazing. That I don't train this like 10 minutes. It's like 3 minutes of him talking from an interview, and I trained it for 10 minutes, and it's just good. It really comes out really well. The new version of which I linked into the description if you want to download it and play around with it. This is what is it? RVC's newest version. It's like the new Nvidia version. What happens if you? Hey, everyone, how you doing? What happens if you do an hour for training? So they have what they call like epoch settings, which is like an epoch is like an iteration basically for RVC instead of you know how like Deepfacelab has iterations like every second or every couple of milliseconds. So like I want to say on the new version that I'm training an epoch like every 3 seconds, as opposed to before on the beta version, it was like, oh hell, it was way short, longer. It was like 12 or 15 seconds per epoch or something stupid. But the recommendation from the tutorial I watched a while back was like to train it for 200 epochs. So that's what I did. This is 200. So at, you know, 2 seconds a piece. It took like a little over 10 minutes to do this model. It was very, very quick as far as the voice goes. So this works pretty much. Even like the Arnold Schwarzenegger one I did turned out pretty good. I can do his voice anyway, so I don't really necessarily need it to yeah, Brandon, how you doing? So I don't really need to do like Arnold's voice in AI if I don't want to, but it would be interesting to screw around with it, I guess. And then what the hell? The other ones, Jordan Peterson turned out pretty good. I haven't done him in the new version yet. There's like some new version setting called RVMP underscore GPU, which seems to produce much better results than the previous. They had a setting called Harvest before when creating the, you know, like the model type to train. Let's see. I've had weird issues with the barbecue where it's just like sometimes it just doesn't work and I can never figure out why. Uh, I think WAV files tend to work better than MP3s, so if that helps you at all, making it one file instead of a bunch of files might help. So I don't know if you're like trying to throw a bunch of different audio clips into like the training folder, but if you combine them into one thing, that kind of helps sometimes. What I've been doing, which may or may not help you, is I go on like YouTube, for example, and I look for an interview that the person did where it's primarily just them speaking and there's no music or in the background. You can use RVC to split out the music too. That's another setting. So like if you want to play around with that, you can split the audio and the instrument track, but that's for another story. Anyways, try to find just your guy or girl or whoever talking, and I throw that into like Adobe Premiere Pro, for example, and make sure that if there's anybody else talking at all, that I cut them out and just consolidate it down into one track of just Jason talking, for example. Export it as a WAV file instead of a video file. Throw that into RVC's training folder, and you go train it, and it's pretty quick. See, standard amount. Just talking, my mouth gets dry. I'm pretty geeked on how this is going. Like I said, I may have to try to set up like a 2 PC setup again. I've got my two of my good computers upstairs in my office. They're not too far from each other, so I could probably do 2 capture cards in one system. I've got one that's external and one that's internal, and try running a game, for example, system. Well, I don't know, like I haven't watched the tutorial in a while, so I don't remember what the recommendation was. I think it said, you know, like I used up to an hour on like on Patrick Stewart, and it wasn't like it was a problem. And like I said, this is with 3 minutes, and this seems to be fine. So maybe more about the quality than the quantity. Like with Patrick, he was audio narrating a book or something that I found on YouTube, and so that was super easy. I was like 2 seconds of downloading that and throwing it in there, and then just letting it train. But it was very easy to find some people. Guys like Morgan Freeman, if you wanted to do him, would be really easy because you know, of all the different things he does audio narration for. So Morgan would be simple. But really any celebrity is pretty easy to deal with. They have so much audio and video samples out there. It's pretty hard to go wrong. But yeah, I was thinking I could set up and try to play a game like on one PC and have the other system doing like video and audio translation for the face and the mouth, because I don't think one PC could handle all this. And then, like I say, for some reason, the RVC application has to be in the foreground all the time, which means you couldn't run a game and still keep it in the foreground. So you're doing the quick 96. That's never going to look good, Brand, just because it can't. Like, I mean, at 96 pixels, it's too low res to really do a whole lot of anything. I personally have never done a quick 96, but as far as I know, there's less settings than there is for standard SAE-HD training. So it's like you can't enable certain things to sharpen it up or improve it beyond a certain point anyway. Do you have a GPU that's not capable of doing higher than a quick 96? Because otherwise I would do SAE HD and at least 128, but I mean I would try to do higher if you have the VRAM for it. I don't know what you have, sir. Still going on. I know everybody wants me to do a head tutorial. I don't know, man. Like they're really kind of sketchy. I did make another, so like you know the art, was it Prashanth? I don't know if you've done like regular models yet or not, but head models you have to have a totally different, like for example the RTM face set, which you use to train a regular model, the whole face model. You have to have something comparable to that, but with head images instead, and it kind of helps to XSeg all of them too. Now I finally threw something together here kind of recently that's like around 60,000 images, but it's just guys that I like tried to make head models with before. So I took the source face sets and then threw them all together and made a destination head set out or face set out of it. So it's like I think there's like 5 or 6 people in it, but it's a total of like 60,000 images. And it seems like it's working reasonably well, but it's like you have to, it's a similar set of steps, but instead you have to extract everything as head instead of whole face and properly XSeg everything around the head. Generic XSeg doesn't work with head, it only works with whole face. So you have to manually do a bunch of things, which is way more tedious. And then I found that it really, other than like looking straight on or slightly at angles, it starts looking pretty weird. Like especially side profiles, it takes it forever to learn if it does at all. You'll get weird like blurring things where like the face is facing in both directions at one time. That's really disturbing. So, I mean, I probably will do one eventually. I know people have been asking me to do one for a while. I don't know. Frankly, I'm kind of lazy about it. But it's not that different in the sense of training it, but getting it to look right. Which really I haven't even had that much good luck with it. Like anybody with long hair doesn't work well. Like they gotta have short hair, which is one reason why I do like bald people, for example. Like Patrick Stewart was really easy because he doesn't got any hair. But if they have long hair that's kind of flowing and moves around a lot, depending on which way their head turns, like it's still static all the time and it looks funky and doesn't move correctly. It doesn't get good definition. You need to use very high autoencoder dimensions for it to even learn all the hair. It's like, I don't know, like they often don't work out that good. So, and you almost need to do them at a higher resolution for them to look even kind of decent, because try to imagine that, like for whole face, you know, let's say you did, this model is 320 pixels. So let's say you wanted to do 320 pixels in just the face, that's an okay number of pixels to cover the face. But if you're trying to do the whole head and you still only have 320 pixels, it's not as sharp. Okay, use NVE. Graphical area help. I don't know what you. I have used NVE a couple times, but I don't use it with any kind of regularity. I only really use it if it, and really, like honestly, there's so little good tutorials for it, and it's kind of not self-explanatory. I only used it to do like extractions on faces from videos that the software just can't read a face wise, and that's only if I really wanted to do it, because it's like, it's a pain in the neck. Some people are more comfortable with it, I guess, but even like their Discord, like there's not much useful help in there. I asked periodically what I thought were some relevant questions, and it's like it takes days to get in a response, and it's very, not useful. I don't know. See, how do we do RVC and DFL real time at the same time? So, and I answer Prashanth first because it's faster. The 3090 and the 4090 have the same amount of VRAM, but the 4090, of course, is faster. The A6000 has twice the VRAM, but is about in the middle of the other two cards for speed. So if you want to do high resolution, like really high resolution, more VRAM is better. If you want to do a model at kind of a middle resolution like 320 or 384, the 4090 is better because it's faster. You can do all the way up to 512 resolution on a 24 gig card, but only at batch 4. On the A6000, you can do all the way up to 640 resolution, but still not particularly high batch, and it'll be pretty slow. So a question about how to use RVC and DFL at the same time. So there's a file in the RVC, so like again, I linked these in the description. For RVC, there's a separate application called RVC GUI that comes with it. You run that, you tell it to use your, like the train files you made, your model, there's one called in weights, the weights folder, and one in the logs folder that you have to select. So one's called a PTH file, one's called an index file. I can't share my display because if I do, RVC will stop working. So I'm sorry, I would just show you what it looks like, but you're gonna have to just kind of envision it. Maybe later I could try to do something separately or whatever. But anyways, so like you run Deepfacelab first, get that working, then enable RVC GUI, select your PTH and your index files, tell it your input device, which is your microphone, output devices, whatever you want to be, your speakers or whatever. Set your general settings, which is in this case, like you lower the pitch, because my voice is higher than Jason's, so I have to lower it to sound like him a bit more. And tell it to start audio conversion, voila. Then you have to broadcast it with something like OBS. That takes some different settings, which I played around with until I got it to work, but it only took a few minutes. I think you can figure that part out. Let me see. What is this? Dual 3090s, much cheaper, but let's see. Care about power consumption that much. Yeah, 3090s is fine. Dual 3090s will get you your 48 gigs, and it'll be faster than a single A6000, but it does, as you said, use a lot of power, kind of hot. You got to have a specific PC with big enough motherboard and proper spacing to fit the cards, pretty good power supply. You got to have your NVLink bridge. Things can go wrong, and you have to modify the Deepfacelab code a little bit to get it to actually even work. As soon as you enable GAN, if you don't have the proper code modifications, it'll just crash. I have to do that with all my, Hey, how are you? What's up, video game boss? How you doing? We're going AI crazy over here, man. I'm not sure, I probably could screw around it more and try to do like an AI background or something the next time as well. The last one I did where I did, didn't do it live. I used something called Nvidia Broadcast, which uses some of the tensor cores in the GPU, and you can AI swap out in the background. And then I recorded like that screen into OBS, just like right now I'm like exporting the Deepfacelab screen into OBS. I'd use the other one instead. The problem is it's kind of fuzzy and kind of low res, so it didn't look as good as it could have looked. I think this looks better when using the Deepfacelab screen instead of the Deepfacelab screen. 1 second here. I think this would be better if I just put it up on my other screen here. And I don't have to keep looking at my phone. Oh yeah, that's so much better. Archive? I mean, these always stay on my channel. I don't delete them or anything, if that's what you're asking. And then if you check the description section of the video, you can download RVC, you can download any of like the Deepfacelab and Deepfacelab software applications, and my Google Drive is linked so you can download this face model if you want, and any of the other face models I've done. There's like 50 models in there now or something like that. There's a lot of stuff in there. This is probably one of the better ones I've ever done, this Jason Statham. Arnold Schwarzenegger's pretty good in there. I have Idris Elba in there now. It's I don't know what it is. Deepface Lab does not work that great with people with darker skin tones, we should say. I wish it did. I've been trying to get Idris to work for a while for some different things. I also ripped his content fully 4K out of, what the hell was it? Hobbs and Shaw again. Since I have that movie, I got a couple different people out of it. But, yeah, Idris Elba I've been trying to do. That's because I synced it up, Prashanth. I changed the settings in Deepface Live to set the mouth delay at like 1250, like 1250 milliseconds is when it started to sync up with the voice. Very cool. Do you have some going on your channel, Video Game Boss? Do you have any models up on your channel? Yeah, I didn't like it in Discord, but I can't remember. But it's in my, the video description. You should have a link to my Google Drive for all my DFM files, and you should be able to find it in there. Let me check real quick. It should be in there. Yeah, it's in there. It says download DFM files here. I never used Rube. I heard it wasn't all that great. Like it's quick and easy, I guess, but I don't know about the quality. I haven't really looked at that many examples of it, so maybe I'm wrong. You see, I feel like this could be blended well. I don't know if I can touch that without or anything on. Trying to blend in. Eh. Watch this. Oh, my face is sort of. No. Mess around with this stuff. Now let's do like giant head Statham. There you go. Statham is a ghost, a giant floating head ghost man. It's like a bobblehead or something like that, you know, like you'd have in your car dash. He's like, eh. Oh, way too much on this stuff. So what is everybody doing on a Sunday night? Uh, no. Hey man, that's how you doing? Remote relaxing, very good. It's Jason Statham. That's right. Hey guys, I'm Jason Statham. How y'all doing? Yeah. Let me try rotating around the face a little bit. Hold on. All right, hold on. A little bigger than that. Uh, too big. Hold on. A little bit small. Having way too much fun here. Whoa. Anyways, let's see. Any difference between NV4? Yeah, there is. I mean, the differences are like different settings that don't exist in the original version. The training window will show you like the number associated with each image, which is nice because in the original version, if there's a problem, the one's like badly aligned or something, you can't even tell which one it is without going through a menu looking for it. Yes, and the MB fork is definitely, in my opinion, the best. Although there really wasn't that many. I don't know if there was anything else out there besides the MVE fork and the vanilla version. I think there might be like one other one, but I've not played with it, whatever it is. But it'd be kind of nice if more was going on with it. I know that Iparov is still working on his DeepX tools, which is basically Deepfacelab 3.0. I did play with that a little bit, like several months ago when he first kind of was getting a GUI to the point where you could play with it. But he doesn't really have any walkthroughs of any kind out for it, and most of the stuff I figured out with it was because other people had already screwed around with it and gave me some idea what to do. It's not very self-explanatory yet. That's something I've noticed is that a lot of this stuff is not. That's why I started making a lot of these videos. Is I didn't feel like this stuff was self-explanatory, like at all, and so it needed more documentation. It's kind of what I do for my job is documentation a lot of times. So this kind of translated well into YouTubing, I say. But yeah, I'm looking forward to when he has the new version out, even if it's a couple of years from now, because it has features like you can, or like in the MDE application, machine video editor, not the Deepfacelab fork, but the standalone application. Like you can manually extract a face out of a video clip that normally you couldn't even, like the software can't even see. Like it can't even tell there's a face there, but you can manually go tell it where the eyes, nose, mouth, and everything is, and then it will just use that, even if it's not something that was really there. You could probably almost use that to do some really weird things, like making like a deep fake out of smoke. Like for example, like if there's like a something you could manipulate in a 3D program or something, and then you could tell it, Deepfacelab, that that's a face to use. You might be able to do some really weird, interesting things. But just for like for video clips to put deepfakes into, it'll be useful, and then you can, like I say, manually properly align the face that regular Deepfacelab, the current version, can't tell is that there's a face even there. I know this is all just kind of abstract stuff that I'm blathering about, but whatever. It's all fun coming from Jason. So anyways, what else is going on? Like I said, I'm doing the stuff with Christopher Lambert. I've got possibly a side gig where I might be helping a company from New York make a commercial, which will be kind of cool. Which will be, I've actually done one or two before, but they were from Europe, and I never actually even saw what they ended up looking like. It's kind of weird how that kind of goes. Ruth, check the description of the video. I've got two different links. One of them is for the the GitHub page, which I don't know if they've got all the current versions on there. And then there's the Nvidia version that I linked directly with a 7-zip file. Yeah, paid course. I mean, the problem, not only is time, like a lot of it's time related, but actually a regular job that I do from, like 9 in the morning to 6 p.m. And by the time I get off, it's kind of like, well, now if I could record a bunch of stuff ahead of time or something, but I mean, that's kind of what the tutorial videos are for, is it's sort of like a free, a non-paid course. You don't have to pay, you just go watch it. And before YouTube in their infinite wisdom decided that I should be demonetized, I at least was making some money from them, and I don't make anything. Some people do send me, I don't want to say I don't make anything. I want to be thankful to my PayPal donators. I do get some. Someone sent me $30 the other day. That was very nice. I don't know the names of the people. Cookie Monster or Kermit DFM? Probably not super well, although I'm not averse to trying it, because actually I was trying to do, well, I should say by trying, I screwed around with it for like 5 minutes, but like Super Mario from the latest Super Mario one, I guess they count. The most recent one there, recently, that was tried fiddling around with that a little bit. It kind of can read his face there, but it's so, abnormally shaped, like his nose is huge, and, he's very cartoony. So it was kind of detecting like the eyes and the mouth, but it was, a lot of times it was getting all gobbledygooked, so it didn't really work that well. But I think, again, that you probably could do it if you use something like the MVE program we're talking about to manually rip out faces. I also wanted to do like the Ninja Turtles, like he's like Raphael or something, and have a Ninja Turtle deepfake. But again, I think it's kind of the same idea, where it's like really big. It'd have to be full head, not just face. Is the audio dropping out? I might have got too far from the mic. If I don't speak loud enough, that might have something to do with it. Is it still working for you? Oh, wow. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't have. Well, actually, I think I do have like a noise AI, slight noise AI suppression in OBS. So if I don't talk about it enough, that probably has something to do with it. Nvidia Broadcast has a similar option. Huh. Well, we're doing a lot of weird stuff here, man. It's all we're all on the bleeding edge around here, so who knows? Let's get to it. So, anyways, I got one video of like for Halloween I'm doing that was requested by one of my subscribers. He really likes Elizabeth Shue, which I may have mentioned in the past in some of my live streams. He repped like 5 Blu-rays and made an Elizabeth Shue face set for me, so I've been kind of inclined to use it periodically. And so, well, I ripped 5 Blu-rays to do Arnold Schwarzenegger, so it's not like, yeah, you know, he's real gung ho for Elizabeth Shue. So he did like, what the hell was it, Karate Kid, and what the hell, Cocktail, and a couple other movies she was in for like the kind of like when she was a lot younger, of course. And so, Brave Stoker's Dracula. There's what the heck was the actress's name? I'm drawing a blank. I'm so bad with names, like when I need them. But the lead actress, like Keanu Reeves' girlfriend in the movie. Well, I can't think of her name, but I'm trading her to Elizabeth Shue per his request. And then Keanu, I'm not sure who I want to do yet on him yet, but I might put Christopher Lambert on him, which would look really funny. Wave to Lip, yes, I have done Wave to Lip. You can use, what the heck, there's a version of Wave to Lip that has like it's a collab, like a collab version of that I did not find to be particularly fun or reliable to use because it's constantly get all the updates. What updates do you mean? For Wave to Lip, anyways, it's better to install it locally on your machine. That's very complicated. I had to watch a very long tutorial on YouTube, which I found just by Googling and randomly looking around. And anyways, like it took several hours. I don't know what you mean, Prasha. What do you mean, which Discord do you want to use? Ways to Lip it works, but it's like if the person is looking off at a bit of an angle or something, it doesn't work very well at all. It's like they have to be kind of almost still frame or just kind of looking at the camera and barely move it around, and then it tends to work better. And it creates like this transparent box around part of the face where the mouth is located, and then syncs that little flapping mouth up to the face. Then if you deep fake back over it, it looks better, but it's still like you can still kind of see the box to some degree. And so, I mean, it works. It's like I don't know of anything else right now that you can really use it. Really, what is it? Sad Talker, I think is the other one it's called, or by Hugging Face. Comes up with these names, but Sad Talker I think can actually make it blink. I need to figure out how to install that locally because the web version of that is a little bit tiresome. Like you get put in a queue, and then I never even got it to work but like one time because you have to wait your quote unquote turn while other people are ahead of you, and it takes forever once you do get it to go anyway. Like anything you can do locally works better. What is it, Ruth? Or the other one was like the older beta one or whatever. Like that. The one link goes to the GitHub page for RVC. The other one is a specific. Oh, okay. Well, you've retracted your message. But yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Prashant. What do you mean, which Discord? Let's go water. Well, I don't know if there is like a quote unquote normal one. I just know that the newer one I'm using is called Nvidia. So I don't know what GPU you have, but if you have an Nvidia GPU, it probably won't work with that version of it. it seems like there might be more versions out there. And the one that I had originally was like a beta version off of the GitHub page. I don't know if it supported AMD or not. I don't own any AMD cards except for like a kind of a low end one from a while back. Then you would use the Nvidia one. I don't know how. I mean, 3070 Ti is a pretty fast card. I would think that you'd be able to do it with a reasonable amount of time. I mean, I'm doing a 40 on a 4090. It was taking only like 10 minutes to trade a model. If it even took you 15, 20 minutes, it's not very long. I mean, there's like two total Discord channels that I'm aware of that really even are active at all, and they're kind of dead too. Uh, there aren't any updates, dude, other than like I say, he's working on what is it, Deepx tools. But I mean, he rarely talks about it. Just once in a while, somebody will post something in that channel and ask about it, and he'll say he's still working on it. But he's not very talkative. The guy that does this stuff. So as far as updates go and tutorials, I mean, you know, the ones that I make all go on my channel. I don't have my own Discord channel. I mean, I just use the ones that other people already have. Because the main one's called Deepx, and the other one is something else. How's the other one called? I'll find out. Hold on. The other one is Deepfacelab Community. Initials DC. So, I mean, you can go in there and ask questions. People are sometimes willing to help. Sometimes people, I don't know, like people ask a lot of the same questions, so the people that are in there a lot get kind of inundated with that and don't necessarily always behave that helpfully. So it just depends on what your question is. And if you've watched a bunch of tutorials and tried a bunch of things and you still can't figure something out, people are usually willing to help you with it. But if you come in there and haven't made any effort to figure it out yourself, people usually won't be that helpful. I've seen that. So, you know, ask questions, but make an attempt to figure it out, I guess. Or you can ask questions on my channel in the comment section. I usually try to answer stuff pretty well. I get a fair number of questions on here, but it's not like I can't keep up with it. I'm not like a big channel that gets thousands of messages. Let me see if I think on here. So anyways, been going for about an hour actually, which is, I didn't realize I'd been on here that long. I was just wanting to play with it for like 5 minutes. So I guess we'll probably go ahead. Good here. I appreciate everybody dropping in and checking it out. Like I say, if you want to download this face model, the link is in the description. If you want to download the application called RVC to make your own AI voice changeover models, that is in the description as well. There's the kind of, yeah, have a good night, good deep fake, like fakers. So like I say, there's stuff in there. You can download the, whatever's on the GitHub page, or you can download the Nvidia version that I linked. If you have an AMD card, I'm not 100% certain of how supported that is. So you can try it, but there may be a different version you'll have to look for. What else is in there? Just links to Deepfacelab, Deepfacelab, the usual stuff that I use to make these models. So anyways, if anybody has any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Really appreciate everybody coming in. Ramona, good. Thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Thanks for everybody who came by. Lots of people in the night. It's very cool. And I will, like I said, I'll have something up with like Chris Lambert here in a couple of days. That model won't take that much longer. So you guys have a good night. See you guys in the near future. Gotta work tomorrow. Take care.